Just when you thought your day really sucked.
You suck!
Here comes something to make it suck even more. It's a Lamont and Tonelli podcast.
Sully,
Yep.
make a note of this, okay? I want you to learn from Sammy Hagar.
Sure.
All right? Because this guy is a pro.
Yep.
When he says he's calling in at a certain time, it is to the second
Yes.
that Sammy Hagar calls in.
It is
You
unbelievable.
can learn something from this man. We have Sammy Hagar on the line. How you doing,
What's up,
Sammy?
Sammy?
I'm doing great, fellas. Listen, the only reason why you got me is you know what it is. I'm in the East Coast, so for me, I've already had breakfast. I'm up. It's all good.
We knew there was a loophole to the early
There's
hour.
a hook. And the other reason why I'm always so prompt, I've got stuff to do, pal. I want to get this over with and get on with it. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, they don't have anything to do and they're sitting around doing nothing. I ain't calling, and they forget. I'm busy, man.
Hey, now
How's my buddies doing in my hometown? Come on now.
We're doing great. And, Sammy, you know what? First off, I just want to say I remember talking to you backstage at the Bone Bash, and you were there with Joel Sullivan. And you were telling me about this book you had coming out. And by the way, it's out now, Red, My Uncensored Life in Rock. And you were telling me, you said, boy, when you read this book, there's going to be a few blockbusters here. And you are not holding back anything. And I love that. You're just telling the truth.
Yeah, we saw some of the excerpts earlier in the week, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's unfair almost to take excerpts out of the book because, nothing really describes the whole damn package because, I start from childhood, which is semi-crazy as a lot of my fans and friends and stuff don't. Even some of my best friends, like Joe Satriani, he posted this thing. He was going, I had no idea. Now I understand Sammy. So I think it's great that people know everything. Yeah. And the only way, if you're going to write an autobiography, come on, Lamont, what do you got to do? You got to tell it like it is because the internet today, they got information about you that you don't even know about, and you go in there and you try to leave something out. People are going to go, oh man, he didn't tell about that, man. Oh, he's lying. And
exactly.
So I dug down deep. Joel Sullivan, man, he worked me hard on this. We'd do we do the Montrose chapter, right? And then I'd tell everything I remembered in one, 4-hour session or something. I'd think about it for a few days. Then I'd tell him for 4 hours. We'd transcribe it. We'd go back and read it, and I'd say, oh, I forgot this or I forgot that. And he would say, oh, yeah, and I need to know, what was going on in your marriage back then. Or you didn't tell us enough about the backstage antics. Come on now. And then I'd say, okay, all right, well, let's go. And then we'd go through it, and then we'd usually take the F word. We do a wash because I say it so much.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do it right now, you guys. Relax. You guys just sit down and relax. Don't worry about this, okay? And if it was early in the morning for me, I might slip, but I'm not going to. But we did an F wash, and then we'd go back and read it. And the first time we did it, we went, what are we doing? This doesn't sound like Sammy anymore. Yeah. So we put the words back in. We put the sex, drugs, and rock and roll back in, and it is all there, folks. Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right. Now, and there was a story you told me once, and you told me in confidence, and I never leaked it, and I am so happy that you put it in the book, and that was when you were touring with Van Halen. And I remember talking to you once, and I go, hey, how's the tour going? You go, I don't know if this tour is going to last. I don't know if we're going to make it to the end. And I said, why? And you said, well, you can't say anything, but Eddie is drunk all the time. And I never, ever revealed that. And you told what was going on that tour backstage. Every single iota of information is there.
Yeah, that 04 reunion tour was a mess. I'm still happy we did it.
Right.
I think the fans needed it. And I wanted to do it so bad, and I wanted it to be so great, and I was hoping that the mighty Van Halen would get back together. It would jolt everybody back in line, and we'd say, let's make a new record, and let's, do it right and be friends again and all that, and that didn't happen. We all know that didn't happen. Eddie and I became worse enemies than ever could imagine because of the way his antics were. Anybody that saw those shows in the Bay Area and Oakland Coliseum, I think it was, and where else we played, where did we play, San Jose or Sacramento, wherever it was.
Yeah.
Eddie was in such bad shape that he didn't play the damn songs right, And here I'm a singer, and you got a bass player, and you got a drummer up there, and you got a guitar player that you get your melodic, cue from, because I'm a singer, so you're singing, guitar plays, you sing.
Yeah.
And he would play the most whacked out stuff, and it was harder than hell to sing. There were nights where I just wanted to go over and grab the guitar from him and say, look, dude, we'll just finish this out here. But the problem is I can't play his stuff. It's too damn. But he couldn't either. So what the hell? I might as well have.
We remember the show, and I remember telling Lamont after we saw you. In fact, we saw the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
And just kind of made the observation. I said, Sammy is always on the opposite side of the stage than Eddie is.
Yeah.
He seems to be palling around with Michael Anthony all the time during the show, but there's not a lot of interaction between Sammy and Eddie. You actually address that in the book.
I had to stay as far away from his guitar as possible, and he was too crazy. I mean, you're up there with the guy that's, he was in bad shape during that tour. That's all I got to say. So when you're up there with the guy that's capable of doing something wacky, like taking his guitar off and smacking you in the back of the head or something, you just kind of, without you looking, blindside you or something. So I stayed clear. Some nights, Sammy, it was okay.
Sammy,
but
things were that bad between the two of you that you were afraid he was going to hit you with his guitar?
Well, I was pissed. We were yelling and screaming at each other all the time. I got to tell you, they kept us apart. Eventually, it's in the book. You read it, but this is only, I want to get something straight with everybody. This is only the 04 tour.
Exactly.
That's the only torture of the whole thing. The rest of the Van Halen years were phenomenal. The greatest time of my life. I had more sex, drugs, and rock and roll and more fame and fortune in that band than anybody could want for 200 years. We wrote the greatest songs on the planet, but it just got friggin' ugly. I got to tell you, anybody ever been married to a crazy woman? If you have, that's kind of what it was like. Well, where you'd be afraid to go to sleep at night, afraid she'd come in, with a butcher knife.
The Lorena Bobbitt.
Exactly. Exactly.
And to your point, I mean, in the beginning, you talk about how it was like family when you got together with Van Halen in the very beginning, and everything was just
9
great.
years. For 9 years, it was family, brother.
Yeah. Hey, so let me ask you, and I know our time's limited with you.
You're limiting even more. You know that.
Exactly.
You're asking all the wrong stuff here.
Hey, that's what we're good at.
I know.
So now let me ask you, because I know you're really good friends with Michael Anthony. At what point did they turn on him?
They turned on Mike in the middle of, I'd say, before Foreign Lawful Carnal Knowledge. But no, Foreign Lawful Carnal Knowledge, right around there, they started turning on Mike. It was unfortunate, and Ed Loeffler, while he was still alive, our manager, who was my manager through my whole solo career, and then when I joined Van Halen, he took over Van Halen all the way up until Ray Daniels, Alex's brother-in-law, took over, and we only lasted a year after that. So the band, he broke the band up. But Mike, Ed Loeffler, and I used to really stick up for him. But it wasn't it's so funny. You put a group of people together. Yeah. Look at you guys. Look how you pick on Sully.
Oh,
just look
absolutely.
at Mikey as Sully. But you couldn't live without him.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
There you go. So you put a bunch of guys together. They create a pecking order, what I call the totem pole.
Yeah.
Everyone creates the totem pole, and when you first start out, there's no totem pole. It's laying on its side, and everybody's equal. And then pretty soon, people start jumping on each other's back, and they go, "Oh no, I'm the king. Oh, hey, everybody's listening to me. I'm the boss, and I'm this, and I'm that." And when that starts happening, somebody's got to take a little blunt in. And Mike always took it, but they weren't that tough with Mike. I mean, Mike and I had more fun than anybody in that band,
Yeah.
So, but they started kind of taking his power away and didn't care about his vote and things like that around Foreign Lawful Carnal Knowledge. But the band still had some love in our hearts, and everything was fine. And Mike was okay with it. Mike's the richest guy in the band, I think. I think if Mike woke up in the morning with Alex Van Halen's money, he'd jump out a window, or else he'd file Chapter 11 or something. Mike saved every penny he ever made, that guy.
That's funny. Hey, I want to plug the fact that you're coming to town next week, and you've got a couple of book signings. It's a great book. You're at Barnes & Noble in Roseville, the Creekside Town Center, and you're going to be there. And I'm going to put all these times on our webpage as well. You're going to be there on Thursday at 7 o'clock, March 24th. The 25th, you're doing Books Incorporated in the Marina in San Francisco. That's a 7 o'clock one as well at night. And none of these are during the day, Sammy.
Well, I better write this down. Huh? Wait a minute. Can you give me those times I have to be there again?
All right. Hey,
no. Well,
and then you have one on Saturday as well at let me see, in Petaluma at Copperfield's Books in Petaluma. So we'll have all that information on our webpage. And good luck with this. It's a great book.
Thanks. I've never signed books or records in my entire career. Well, I never had a book, but even in my entire career, I never did in stores. We all know I never did that. That was something that I didn't like to do.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it on this book tour, and I'll never do it again. Okay, it is so hard. It is harder than doing a concert. You got like 700-800 people lined up, hardcore fans, and they say, okay, Sammy, they tell them, they do a big speech, you can't sign, you can't like to bring out 50 album covers and say sign this and sign that. You only get a book signed because Sammy's only good for 500 signatures, because that's what we found out. And then I cramp up, and then I get grumpy, and so we don't want that. So we limit it to 500, because honest to God, it's hard to sign 500 things.
Yeah.
And you're going, and these guys, so they say, yeah, sure. And every single guy that gets up to the front of the line, he walks up to the desk, he opens his jacket up, and bam, about 35 CDs drop out, 15 pitchers, a bottle of tequila, and hey, can you sign it? Come on, Sammy. And then they got to wrestle him out and throw. And then okay, next, it's painful because I want to do it. I'm sitting there going, oh no, Sammy, I've seen you 75 times. Sign my ticket. My kid's in the hospital. It's like, oh boy, see, you guys don't know what it's like having fans. You guys don't have any fans.
There's a cheap shot.
I love you guys.
Hey, Sammy, before we let you go, any update on Chickenfoot stuff?
Chickenfoot's got 11 songs finished in the studio, except for 4 of them need vocals. I haven't finished my vocals because I haven't finished the lyrics completely, but we got 7 done. It's unbelievable. I think it's better than the last album. I don't know why I'm hyping it so much. It probably won't come out for 4 or 5 months, but it's so good, and I just love it. Joe Satriani is just the master. He brings music to us that is just. I don't see where I think the guy. You know what? I think he's cheating or something, because he's got to be. He must have a ghostwriter, because we sit there and Joe and I we talk. Say, Joe, what about something? Maybe we need something kind of mid-tempo. We got a bunch of up-tempo stuff. How about something kind of mid-tempo? Maybe like a la, you bring up a song, Sunshine Your Love. Bring up any song you want. The next day, the cat shows up with this finished song with everything but the vocals and lyrics, and then I go, wow, Joe, that was quick. Now I got to go to work, and then it takes me a week. I have to go to Cabo every time I need to write lyrics, so it's kind of a bummer. You know what I mean? I have to go down to Cabo and sit on the beach to get my lyric ideas and come back, and then we finish up. But honestly, God, Joe's he's a master. He's not only the most prolific writer I've ever written with, but he is the best musician and the best friggin' guitar player. Put that in your book on the planet.
There you go. Hey, were you at Lauser's birthday party?
No, sir, I wasn't. I was working.
Oh, there you go, because I missed it as well, but great guy, Dave Lauser.
I still got the Wobbles on pay. I hope everybody understands that. Chickenfoot is my side band.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. The Wobbles are my... wait a minute. Well, I have 2 bands, okay? I have the Wobbles and I have Chickenfoot. When I want to go through a party and I want to play all my old catalog, I play with the Wobbles. When I get tired of singing I Can't Drive 55, I go play with Chickenfoot.
There you go.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And when I get tired of that...
Yeah. You go to Cabo.
I write a book.
And you go to Cabo and drink tequila.
Yes, sir, I do. Okay, you guys, come on,
all
man.
right.
I want to see when I get back.
Sounds
when the
good.
Chickenfoot thing comes out, we're going to throw a party in San Francisco, and we'll do it with the Boom.
Sounds good, and I'm going to put all this on the webpage. Go and do what you got to do. Thanks, Sammy.
Thanks, you guys.
Man.
All right, the great Sammy Hagar.
Another fine product from Uranus.
That concludes the Lamont and Tonelli podcast. To hear more and everything Lamont and Tonelli, check out the website at lntworld.com.